What's up guys, welcome back to another informational YouTube video. So today I got a question from a kid who asked me a lot of questions, but that's okay because I want people to ask me questions. So shout out to you, Denson. Denson asked me today, hey, how do I know what body type I am? Okay, so today's video is going to be about body types, what kind of training each body type should do, and what kind of nutrition each body type should have. So I wrote down a shit ton of notes here to share with you guys about different body types. So there are 3 body types. It's not limited to this category. Some body types, there's like an in-between. Sometimes you can mix and match body types, but these are the 3 most common body types. Number 1, we got the ectomorph. So what does an ectomorph look like? I'm gonna post a picture here for you guys, but just to describe what an ectomorph is, it's your classic beanpole. So it's somebody who's tall, skinny, doesn't have a lot of muscle, thin bones, not really thick, not really wide. Just your classic beanpole. They have fast metabolisms, they have a hard time gaining weight, and they have a hard time putting on muscle. So people that are just naturally skinny. You can see they're the kind of people that you go to the restaurant with, that eat whatever and they don't gain weight. Okay, so what should their nutrition look like, or if their goal is to gain weight and if their goal is to put on size and muscle? Okay, 1, they need to eat more often. You need to eat every 1 to 2 hours. I know that's crazy, but it needs to be done in order to get that amount of calories in your body to promote muscle growth and to promote weight gain. 2, what should their macronutrient breakdown look like in terms of percentages? So ectomorphs, they need a lot of carbs. Their body responds well to carbohydrates. When they take a lot of carbs in, it's gonna help increase their weight, it's gonna help increase their muscle mass. So they should have 60% of their total calories from carbs, they should have 25% of their total calories from protein, and that leaves 15% of their calories from fats. So their body does not respond very well to fats, but their body does respond well to carbohydrates. So make sure that you guys are eating a ton of carbohydrates. But that doesn't mean do not have simple carbs, because simple carbs break down in the body like that. Remember, we have, but ectomorphs have fast metabolism. So you want a slow carb, a carb that's gonna break down slow in your body. So what does this look like? It is not the white starchy stuff. So it is not pasta, it is not white potatoes, it is not candy, it is not stuff like that. It's gonna look like sweet potatoes, it's gonna look like brown rice, it's gonna look like quinoa, just slow acting carbs. Website's full of a whole list. Just go Google slow acting carbs and you can get a whole entire list of slow acting carbs. So, okay. Is there anything else I want to say? Oh yeah, another tip for ectomorphs is make sure you're eating before bed or in the middle of the night. So what I mean by that is when our body is sleeping, we're running out of protein source that keeps our body anabolic. Anabolic means muscle building, and once we run out of the protein while we're sleeping because we're not eating, our body turns to catabolic, meaning muscle breakdown. So right before you go to bed, I recommend that you have a protein shake, or that you have a meal right before you go to bed that's high in protein. If you cannot have a meal before you go right to bed, set an alarm for the middle of the night, wake up, have a protein shake at your nightstand, chug that baby, go back to bed. So just make sure that you're getting some sort of protein in, or some sort of meal right before bed or in the middle of the night, so that we keep our body anabolic and not catabolic. Okay, so that's it for nutrition on ectomorphs. Let's get into the training for ectomorphs. Okay, so the training is gonna look a lot like a hypertrophy style program. So rep ranges of 6 to 12, sets about 3 to 5 sets. So 3 to 5 sets, 6 to 12 reps for all major muscle groups. Okay, another thing we wanna focus on is we wanna focus on compound movements. So we wanna do a lot of compound movements. So the bench press, the deadlift, the back squat, the front squat, the overhead press, all sort of compound movements. They're definitely gonna help benefit you. So you wanna start each training day or program with a compound movement, followed by a lot of hypertrophy and isolation style of movements. Classic bodybuilding, pretty much. You do not wanna do much cardio. Like we said, your body's gonna burn really quickly, so we do not want to do very much cardio. The reason also is ectomorphs have a lot of type 1 muscle fibers. Type 1 muscle fibers are good at long, slow, repetitive movements like running, swimming, biking. These are the type of muscles that respond well to oxygen, but that's okay because you can actually change your muscle fiber typing. So we could switch it over to a type 2 muscle fiber, which is going to look more along the lines of power, speed, lifting, strength, all that good stuff. So limit the cardio and increase the weights. So you probably want to train about 5 to 6 times a week, weight training, that is, and about 0 times for cardio. So I already touched on that the volume needs to be high. We want to be using about 80 to about 90% more on the bottom of that scale of percentages for our 1 rep max. So when we're back squatting, you guys will respond well to like 5 sets of 7 at 80% of your back squat or bench or something like that. So something in the 6 to 12 rep range, 3 to 5 set range at about 80 to 90% of your 1 rep maxes. Okay, I think that's gonna wrap it up for the ectomorph. Let's move on to the mesomorph. So the mesomorph is your classic person that you look at and he looks like he's been working out but maybe hasn't even worked out. It's people that are naturally gifted. They naturally have nice bodies. They naturally have muscle. They're usually a large build and they're athletic. So let's get right into the nutrition. The nutrition for these guys is pretty simple. Eat about every 2 to 3 hours and have a good balance of carbohydrates and fats. So we're looking at about a 40, what did I write down here? Oh, 50% from carbs, 30% from protein, and 20% from fat. So 50% of your daily calories from carbs, 30% of your daily calories from proteins, and 20% of your daily calories from fats. Okay, one little side note that I wrote down was that mesomorphs do have the potential to gain fat easily. So you cannot overeat. Mesomorphs, unlike ectomorphs, they cannot or ectomorphs can eat whatever they want, right? Mesomorphs cannot, okay? So yes, you still have to track, you still have to be weary about how much you're eating. You wanna make sure you're hitting that 50, 30, 20 ratio pretty on point because mesomorphs can put on some fat. All right, let's move on to training for mesomorphs. Training is going to be pretty basic. It's going to be a lot of hypertrophy work, so that's 6 to 12 rep range, 3 to 5 set range. It's going to be a lot of strength work, so you can do a lot of, on top of the hypertrophy stuff, you can do a lot of those compound movements in smaller reps and smaller sets, working with heavier numbers. You want to do some cardio, but not a crazy amount of cardio, so maybe 2 times a week you want to do some cardio, because you have that potential to put on a little more fat than the ectomorph, but mainly your program's focused around the weight training. Another thing that I wrote down to tell you guys was that mesomorphs have a lot of type 2 muscle fibers. So type 2 muscle fibers fall between a type 1 muscle fiber and a type 2B muscle fiber. So a type 2B muscle fiber is a muscle fiber that is really good at 1 rep maxes. So they're extremely strong and powerful and have a lot of speed in the 1 rep max domain. So the type 2A falls between that 1 rep max zone and that cardio zone. So they fall right in between. So you guys are good with sets of 8, sets of 10, things like that. Alright, so yeah, the mesomorph's easy. Pretty simple training program, pretty simple nutrition program. They're the easiest people to work with and to just train with. So moving on to the endomorph. Endomorphs tend to be round. They tend to have a lot of fat on them. They gain muscle easily, but they gain fat just as easily. They're usually stocky and they have slower metabolisms. So for nutrition, you guys want to eat about every 4 to 5 hours. Since your metabolism is really slow, you're not going to burn through your meal that fast, so you don't need to eat that often, okay? What's your ratio going to look like for nutrition? We're going to have, so endomorphs, believe it or not, they are fat, okay? But they do not respond well to carbohydrates. They actually respond better in terms of weight loss to healthy fats. So we're gonna reduce our carbohydrate intake to about 30% of your total calories, okay? We're gonna have a lot of protein, so 40% of your total calories are from protein, and 30% of your total calories are from fats, okay? But these are healthy fats, like nuts, nut oils, and avocados, and healthy fish like salmon, your omega-3s, your omega-6s, stuff like that, guys, okay? So another thing, you can look up healthy fats, it's on Google. That's not what this video is about. This video is about body type, so I'm not going to give you that specific information. Okay, so what I touched on before with the muscle types, the endomorphs have a lot of type 2B muscle fibers, so you guys are really strong. You tend to be really strong in the 1 rep max zones if that's what you're training. But what my recommendation for training is you're going to train a lot like the other training programs. You're going to do hypertrophy stuff, so high intensity, a lot of supersets, rep ranges of 6 to 12, set ranges of 3 to 5. But the difference with your training program is we're going to do a lot more cardio. We're probably looking at about 3 to 4 days a week of cardio, mixing up different intensities, doing slower intensities because that slower intensity tends to burn more fat in our body, and also we're going to do some more high intensity stuff. For cardio, I've made a video on this in the past, but I prefer high intensity for weight loss clients. So if I was gonna make a program for an endomorph, I would have them doing, probably wouldn't have them doing much steady state cardio at all, actually. I'd probably have them doing mostly high intensity stuff. So that's all the notes I have for you guys on different body types. Remember, there are more than just these 3 body types, but these are the 3 most common. Some people are a mix of ectomorphs and mesomorphs. Some people are a mix of mesomorphs and endomorphs, you know? But I hope this was informational for you guys. I gave out a ton of knowledge. Make sure that you guys are sharing this video, telling your friends. If you think a friend can use this video or some of the information in this video, refer it to them. Otherwise, guys, just hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.